All right, it's still good morning, Anambra, and you're welcome to this segment. What do we have now? We are going to talk about something very important and something that has been going on around us. Let's actually try to find out if we still have value for sanctity of life. And our topic for discussion this morning says extrajudicial killings in the society. Extrajudicial killings in the society. And we have two gentlemen in the studios to really help us look at this. First is Professor Ifani Ezako. He's a lecturer at Paul University here in Oka. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show. We also have Mr. Ifechukwu Dan Jacobs, a legal practitioner. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, presenters. Viewers, you're welcome to the program.
All right, let's begin this way. There's this quote that says that every human being is special and every death is a loss of something precious and irreplaceable. Now, talking about extrajudicial killings in the society, let me begin with you, Mr. Dan Jacobs here. What is extrajudicial killings? Let's get to understand it as our base before we move on.
Well, extrajudicial killing can simply be defined as taking of life unlawfully. Unlawfully. Once you kill somebody, apart from the provisions authorized or the way it's been authorized by the Constitution, we will get as a circular. Like in Section 33, Sub 1 of 1999 Constitution Amendment 211, it stated that we have right to life, except by execution of judgment of cat. And if we go down to subsections, no matter other factors that can guarantee lawful taking of life according to the Constitution's provision. But any other way of taking of life is extrajudicial killing. Provided it's not authorized by law.
When you talk about taking of one's life, who actually does that? Is it human or animal? Let's get to understand.
When you talk about taking one's life or lawful, you talk about human being against human being. When an animal does that, you hold the owner of the animal responsible for not controlling such an animal. Do you get the point? If you have a domestic animal that is wild, that have the potential to kill, you're supposed to guide such animal, protect it, not to have access to human beings.
So this picture, is it an example of extrajudicial killings? This picture?
Of course, that's jungle justice.
Okay, Professor, let's get your take on what extrajudicial killings mean. Let's get your take on it.
I will think extra means something not ordinary, beyond the normal life, beyond the normal scope of something. Extrajudicial means something outside the judgment of the court. Now man takes power by himself. And then we see such type of killings in a mob action. And they just kill, destroy. Remember, there is a difference between killing and execution. Killing goes to somebody's life is removed. But execution is empowered by the court of law. And then killing means you destroy a life that has the right to exist. As the learned man said, every person has a right to life, to existence. Because blood in the person is sacrosanct. They cannot just destroy it anyhow.
All right, now you cannot destroy it anyhow. Now we know that our topic actually said extrajudicial killings in the society, and would like to look at the how actually would your assessment of the level of extrajudicial killings in our society today. Let me come to you, Barrister.
Well, it's too bad that it's becoming rampant. People don't care about the life of others now. They care anyhow. And the law enforcement, most of the time, they get away with it. Because even the law enforcement agent catch up with them, arrest them, investigate the matter, charge them to court. They were being tried, convicted according to the law, and dealt with according to the law. Others will be deterred not to do so. Like in this just concluded election, many senseless killings, they're without cause. There's extrajudicial
Are you actually saying that the law enforcement agencies are not doing what they should
They are not doing
that
it.
has made this multiply by the day?
We have many unresolved deaths today in Nigeria. Unresolved killings. Where are the law enforcement agents who are supposed to investigate that go extra mile to find out what happened so that the culprits will be tried, dealt with, to serve as a deterrent to others. Right. And most of the time, you discover that, except when law enforcement agents themselves are involved, they will take serious action and unravel the mystery behind it.
All right, we'll come back. We'll come back and get to know more about the extrajudicial killing. We're going for a short break. When we come back, Good Morning Anambra continues.
Son, being good at something requires strength. It requires pushing yourself. It requires putting in more. That's why the new improved Bornvita is packed with vitality and a great taste.
Welcome back. It's still Good Morning Anambra, and we are looking at the extrajudicial killings where we find ourselves in today's society. And in the studio we have Professor Ezako and Mr. Ifechukwu Dan Jacobs, trying to look at how much we still have, understanding of sanctity of life in our society today.
Now, you were saying something before we went on break.
This law enforcement agents should step up their actions in the area of issue of extrajudicial killing to make sure it's being prevented or reduced to a barest minimum in the country.
Okay, let me come to you now, Professor. We know that extrajudicial killing is a grave abuse of the rule of law and human dignity, which, of course, are the core fundamental human right. Now, why is it important that such acts should be condemned, denied in any society, especially in a democratic society like Nigeria, which we're practicing?
We talk of democracy in Nigeria. Well, I think people do law of the jungle. People just do whatever they want to do. And I want to state that these extrajudicial killings in Nigeria, it's not just because there's no law enforcement agents working. I want to state that we lack the knowledge, we lack the value of man. Man is seen a fellow human being as an animal. And that man outside there is nothing other than an instrument for destruction, a being for destruction. If we have good education, good knowledge of what man is, the value of man, these extrajudicial killings will not be there. Because you cannot stretch out your hand with machete to slaughter. Look at burning tires, worn-out tires on somebody. And then we start seeing that person who is burning, who is killing, is not having a human brain. You talked about an animal killing somebody. The animal is different from man. Man has brain to think, to reason. The animal has nothing, something like that.
All right, let's quickly take a look at this picture on the screen now. When we talk about extrajudicial killing, earlier you talked about you will see it in mob action, and this is a case of mob action, that something happened, without even hearing from the person in question. They descended on the young man and killed him, and the vehicle was equally burned. How do we explain this in relation to human life we are talking about here, Prof?
It is because mob has no commonwealth of reason.
And not just this. There's one that happened in Port Harcourt, River State, or sometime in school where the Allo school. Yes, it was a very big case then, and so many others that have happened.
You see, one thing is this mob action does not require everybody to say this is what the person has done. They just move out. They rush on the person. Accident. They wouldn't even know whether the accident happened because of brake failure. But now they just get the man, burn him, burn his car, and everything there. The mob has no intelligence. Mob has no intelligence. Only individuals can have intelligence.
And Barrister, now let's come to you. What do you think are the consequences of this kind of extrajudicial killing when you take action without actually getting to find out the reason behind what you're doing?
Well, it shows the level of knowledge and the exposure of the populace in terms of knowledge of other people's rights and knowledge of basic things required of them as citizens. This issue of extrajudicial killing in the society shows the nature and the maturity of the kind of people in the society. We need to step up education, civil education. The consequences is that when such people are being masked, those behind that action, if the law enforcement can step up, I said it, if they can investigate, eventually they will find out the person that ignited such an action, who started it. And by arresting such a person, you can go on to investigate, arrest more. Through investigation, you see those that are culpable and those that are not culpable. You know level of involvement of every person and try them according to their involvement and sentence them according to their involvement. Those of them that are directly involved, if they are convicted of murder, they should face the tune of that judgment as murderers. Those that are in conspiracy, they should face. So the issue is still boiled down to law enforcement agency taking the issue of extrajudicial killing serious. We're not taking it serious.
All right. Professor, Barrister keeps talking about the law enforcement agency. Now, I want to know, what are the factors responsible for extrajudicial killing? Do you think the law enforcement agency the barrister is talking about is one of the factors that lead to why mob descends on those people without listening?
Yes. There was a time I presented the paper at University of Jos conference. This issue of shooting down armed robbers, a mistake. I condemned it. I said, instead of killing that person, give him a very long period in the prison yard. From there, you separate the robbers from the other criminals, and then give them longer period. When they come out from the prison, they will not know the techniques again of the younger ones. Like some of us, the older ones, they call us analog, and the younger ones are digital. We can't know whatever they do. My children used to laugh at me when I don't follow their own trend. Now, if you give the person a longer period in the prison, when he comes out, he will not know the mechanics of the present. He will be operating on the old ideas. So if it is just punishment alone, in the sense of reshaping the mind, it is the mind that is involved in that type of extrajudicial killing. Mind, when the mind is not poised to evaluating man as a being, a man that you cannot exist without. If I know that that person cannot exist without me, and I know I cannot exist without him, then I will start to think of things that will now bring us to a good harmony.
All right, Prof. We are going to take a very short break here. The program will return after now. Let's actually get to feel the pulse of the people concerning the topic under discussion.
The only people that have right to kill is the court. Once you go to the court, they pass judgment. After passing some processes, confirm that this thing happened, then a judge will now decide whether it's capital or corporal punishment, any kind of punishment. So, to make people to take law into their hands, kill at any time they want without proper investigation, that's very wrong.
Extrajudicial killing is a very wrong act. It's very wrong in the society. It gives a wrong impression of the society, especially the government of the society. Like in Nigeria, extrajudicial killing causes so many havoc. It threats the culture of the people and the religion and the belief of the people. It triggers a kind of violence among the ethnic groups. Extrajudicial, unjudicial killing is very wrong. Is not accepted, is not adopted, is not welcome in the society. It will trigger so many troubles that will make us, even we that are being governed, will turn and become monsters in time to come. We will see it as if there is a particular group that the nation or the society or the government is siding. Then the other group, it looks like the minority. Why the major group are the ones that are siding up with the government? So it's very, very wrong. It's unjudicial.
Extrajudicial killing is very wrong to our society because it will make the citizens not to have trust on the judiciary system of the state or the country. So it's very, very wrong. So as for Nigerians, we will have to make sure that before we pass judgment on an individual, we should be very sure about what we are doing. That's it.
All right, it's still good morning, Anambra, and we've gone to the field to feel the pulse of the masses concerning the extrajudicial killings in our society. And of course, you've heard what they said. Everybody actually condemned the act, giving suggestions or giving suggestions of who actually has the right to pronounce a death sentence on an individual that have, committed a crime or the other. Let's quickly see who is with us here before we move back.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Father Science is just from the line. I'm reaching you from Oka Hill.
All right, Barrister, go ahead.
Yes, I want to really agree with my learned friend in the studio on this issue of extrajudicial killing. I think if the security agency will be serious a bit as far as this matter is concerned, they will be more proactive. Most of the times when it's the scene of this crime, you'll find out that by the time the police will come up, this mob must have accomplished their aim. But if the police can come on time to make sure that such individual is saved, then go ahead and make some arrests. Not only one arrest, make a kind of mass arrest, get people that are involved, then prosecute them. It will serve as deterrent. People don't have the right to take laws into their hands, no matter what.
All right,
because police do not come on time most of the time, and they don't even care to make some arrests, then people now do whatever they like in the society. It's very wrong.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, there's something actually that is coming to my mind. When you talk about mob action, and we see the situation we find ourselves in the country in terms of our economy, don't you think people committing this atrocity, they may justify their actions that maybe they have paint, they are. I don't know about from Obulundi, but they don't have what. Then you come to steal what I've suffered, to earn, and that way you can't go free. We have to do it our own way, thereby ending it there and then. What's your take?
Well, no matter what, no matter how you feel about the action of that person involved, you have to allow the law to take into course. It's very, very, because even at that point, the law still presumes such a person innocent until you give evidence on how he stole that thing. Somebody might even allege that somebody stole something where he did not steal in natural sense.
Been like that.
It might be out of malice or enviness. That is why it's not good to join other people when you don't know what happened.
Let's quickly look at what exactly is the job of the National Human Rights Commission. Because when we talk about this mob action and extrajudicial killing, it looks as if they are quiet on the human right. So what is really their job?
The one thing you must know, in Nigeria, a lot of organizations are set up to do particular job in sanitizing the society. But these groups are not given enough chance, in fact, enough spur to do their job. Look at the National Orientation Agency. I'm sorry mentioning it. You discover that certain issues should have been done by a National Orientation Agency. Orientation, what is nationhood, what is this and that? And then these human rights organizations, they may be making some contributions, but the government will not even acknowledge them. And they relax. They relax because if I do something, my work is not recognized, then I will just answer the name of that organization with actually bringing it out to the surface of the society to stabilize.
All right. I want us to really revisit this question I asked earlier about the consequences. That's the outcome or the result. Because these killings are done before the young ones. What are the effects it will have on our upcoming generation, then on the society at large?
It keeps everybody afraid. The young ones, the people of 30 years below or a little above 30 will be involved in this type of mob action and the killing. But the younger ones, the little ones will be watching. Children of about 10 years, they'll be watching. And when they grow, they have built it up, internalizing the activities of the younger. When those ones who have been practicing it had gone off, they will go out and come.
And they will feel life is. You can just take life anyhow. Now let's come to you, Barrister. What's the way forward? What do you think could be done to really reduce this to the barest minimum, if not wipe it entirely from the system?
Well, I think the best thing to do is to educate the people and let them know the need to respect the sanctity of man's life, one, and to know that killing other persons will not solve their problem. And two, issue of drug abuse, because most of them some of them do engage in this act through influence of narcotics, the hard drugs. The law enforcement agents are like National Drug Law Enforcement Agents should step up their actions against abuse of drugs in the society. Because most of the time you discover that those that engage in this extortion, they are not doing it under control of themselves.
All right, your last word before we go.
My advice to us, to Nigerians, narcotic eating, drinking will be discouraged. Good education from the primary school to the highest level. People will now get what is man, what is the purpose of man on earth, what will I do to encourage development of my society, and what will I do to destroy other lives I do not know what they will be in future. So parents also will be having good time with their children, reading the Bible, praying together, so that the child goes out, he knows he's an agent of God on earth.
All right. I think that's the much we can take for now on the topic extrajudicial killings in our society. Thanking you so much, Professor Ifeanyi Ezeaku, for joining us on the show. Thanks for your time, sir.
Okay.
Well, so thank you so much, Mr. Ifechukwu and Jacobs, a legal practitioner. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, the presenter. Viewers, thank you for giving us your time.
And you that have watched, we thank you so much for your time. But please do stand by, because we'll be back with more on Good Morning Anambra.